Okay, boys and girls, so on Monday, Eli and Quinn and I kind of talked about how to solve a problem. We talked about the PAS method. Like, if you come up across a problem, like, I don't know, you're fighting with your brother or sister, you're frustrated about something that's just not working, the big things are first stop and take a deep breath. That's an important thing to help you to kind of calm down. It's easier to make a good decision about something when you've calmed your body down. And second, think about, all right, what are some ways I can solve this problem? Come up with a list of things of how you can solve those problems. Sometimes you can't always solve a problem on your own. Sometimes you need to go ask someone who you trust, an adult, to say, okay, hey, I'm having this problem with my brother or sister, or I can't get this specific Lego to go together. Can you please help me? And they can help you come up with a strategy how to solve the problem. And the third thing is, try it. Think about what the outcome could be before you do it. Now, obviously, don't do something dangerous. Don't take a hammer and try and smash your Legos together. But think about a good decision that you could use. Think about what the outcome could be. Is there any chance I could hurt myself or someone else? If so, don't do that. Could I get in trouble for this? Probably shouldn't do this. Think about a safe, wise strategy to solve a problem, okay? And sometimes you have to try and solve a problem several different ways. And in fact, we have two stories today. One is a short biography about a real person who lived during the times of Martin Luther King Jr., like you and I were talking about right before we took a break from school. We talked about the civil rights movement. Well, this man his name was Samuel Hightower. So I'm going to read this short biography to you about him, and it's pretty amazing because he comes across a problem and he doesn't give up. The problem doesn't always work, or this solution doesn't always work. Sometimes he has to try something else, but he doesn't give up and he keeps working towards solving this problem. And eventually he does solve this problem and it turns out great. So let me read this to you. So did you ever want to do something very much? You worked and worked until you could finally do it? Sometimes you have goals or you have dreams and it's hard to make them happen. Something happens that gets in the way of what you want to do and you feel like your goal will never be reached. Things that get in the way of what you want to do are called obstacles. Everyone has obstacles that get in the way of what they want to do. We're going to talk about Samuel Hightower. He's a man who had many obstacles. Samuel Hightower is a painting and building contractor in Massachusetts. He paints houses and big buildings all over the city of Boston. One part of that city, Roxbury, worried him a lot. People were very poor there. It looked to Mr. Hightower like the kids didn't have much to do. Samuel Hightower loved children and he loved music, so he decided to start a music school for children. That was his goal. Mr. Hightower saved money, bought an old building, and fixed it up. He fixed everything up so the place was beautiful for the children. But all his money was gone and he had no money for music teachers. He talked to teachers all over the city about his new music school. 26 of them agreed to teach without pay because they liked what Mr. Hightower was doing. So that was his first problem. He was trying to find something for kids to do, so he saved up and he bought a building. And he came across another problem. He didn't have any money for music teachers, and he couldn't teach music, so he had to go ask people, and thankfully people were willing to help. Soon 200 children were learning how to sing and play musical instruments. And just when it seemed like Mr. Hightower had achieved his goal, something really terrible happened. In 1968, a black leader named Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed, and we know all about Martin Luther King Jr. and the wonderful things that he was doing and how he impacted our lives even today. People were so angry that they began to riot. They threw bricks and rocks at everything. The music school was damaged, and it was not safe for children and teachers to be there. So there's another problem. Although he had to close the school, Mr. Hightower did not give up on his goal. He still dreamed of opening another music school, so he worked harder than ever and saved every penny he could save. Then he bought another building and began fixing it up. But before he could open the school, someone set fire to the building. That's terrible. You may think that Mr. Hightower would just give up on his goal, but even this obstacle didn't stop him. Mr. Hightower cared so much about kids that he went right on and started a music school in the basement of his church. Lots of kids came for lessons, so many they couldn't get them all in the small basement. Mr. Hightower started saving again to buy a bigger place. After getting help from his friends, he was able to buy another building and then 3 more. Many children have enjoyed learning music because of Samuel Hightower. He reached his goal after overcoming many obstacles. Mr. Hightower said, "When you're determined and really sincere, nothing can stop you." So that's a pretty amazing example of someone who did not give up. Kind of like our song, "I'm Not Giving Up." Well, speaking of not giving up, we've read The Adventures of Beagle, the unimaginary friend, but it's a good example of someone who is dealing with a problem and doesn't give up, even though they could. So, The Adventures of Beagle, the unimaginary friend. He was born on an island far away where imaginary friends were created. Here they lived and played, each eagerly waiting to be imagined by a real child. Every night he stood under the stars, hoping for his turn to be picked by a child and given a special name. He waited for many nights. You can see other imaginary creatures going to a friend, and he's kind of left behind. Not too many are left with him. But his turn never came. Looks kind of lonely. His mind filled with the thoughts of all the amazing things that were keeping his friend from imagining him. So rather than waiting, look at all those amazing things, cooking and playing music, he did the unimaginable. Now you and I know that we need to keep an eye on these pictures because they come into play later. But if your mom or your dad or your brother and sister are watching this with you for the first time, show them these pictures and how they pop up